Welcome to another episode of Digital Dive Media Podcast. I'm your host, Kelly Kelly, the founder and CEO of Brand Method Media Group, which this show is hosted by. Today, we have a very special guest, a dear friend and colleague of mine for quite some time, Mr. Justin Cooper. He is the owner of JOC Media and Entertainment, which is a global creative consulting agency. Welcome to the show, Justin.
Good morning, and thank you for having me, Kelly.
Now, I want to get a little more information on your company and exactly what you do. Can you give us some background?
So as you said in the intro, JOC Media is a global consulting agency. We specialize in film, marketing communications, and music entertainment. We've been in business full-time for the last 3 years, but we have at least 20 years of experience.
Now, what would you say is a typical day in the life for you? I know it can vary, wide range. I know that you like to jet set a lot, but when you're not jetting off on business, what's kind of a standard day for you?
Well, a standard day for me is waking up to a bountiful email inbox. We've been blessed to have a wide array of clients internationally. So normally when I'm sleeping, my clients in other markets are awake. So normally when I wake up, I have emails from other territories that I have to address. And because I have a wide variety of clients, both in the entertainment space as well as corporate spaces, my typical day goes from, dealing with an insurance company to dealing with a producer that may be interested in filming in Jordan or Thailand, or dealing with some of my nonprofit clients, who may need something as simple as a flyer redesign. So no 2 days are typical. I enjoy it that way. And unfortunately, due to COVID, my travels have been limited. So these days, most things are done virtually for the places that I can't get to.
And you mentioned that you've been in this business for 20 years. What do you think has kept you passionate so long through so many iterations of marketing changing? Because any of us that have been in the industry this long, it has been, you went from all traditional things to digital coming into play. So what's kept you passionate about this industry so long?
What's kept me passionate and what's been my driving force for such a long time has been the creative aspect of it. I enjoy the creativity behind it. And now that we are in a digital space, the playing field is leveled. Doing something like what we're doing today, 20 years ago, would have been a totally different experience. So the fact that we have technology, I would say technology and my creativity has helped me remain passionate over these last 2 decades that I've been doing what I've been doing.
And what do you think looking forward, 18 to 24 months out, with everything that's happened, some level of ongoing COVID changes happening, what do you think marketing looks like in the next 18 to 24 months?
I think in the next 18 to 24 months, we're going to continue to do our work virtually. And I think in addition to that, augmented reality or virtual reality will become more prominent. I know here in LA, some movie studios are moving towards virtual reality. If you cannot get to a physical location, you may send out a skeleton crew, and that skeleton crew will take photos and video of a location, and then they bring it back and they have a large studio space that's a green space studio, and they can recreate a far off location locally, and it looks very real. So I think the virtual experience, both connecting with people on platforms like Zoom, as well as AR and VR, are going to become more common, until we can get back together. I think that's where a lot of industries are going to go in the next 18 to 24 months.
Yeah. And speaking on that, in terms of your own personal development to keep up with the competition, what do you foresee, or what are you consuming information-wise to keep you abreast of all these new developments that are happening? Are there podcasts that you listen to, websites that you go to specifically? What are you doing to keep up your skills and your knowledge and your expertise to be relevant?
I think COVID, for all of the negative challenges that it's brought to us with disruption, I think for many of us, speaking for myself, is giving me time to explore other creative platforms to keep myself relevant. I really took time over the last, I don't know how long we've been in COVID now, but I've spent 2020 sharpening my skills, diversifying my portfolio of skills. So I got really proficient in editing software, such as the Adobe Suite, design, because what I find that the clients that I serve can benefit from when I am expanding my knowledge, my clients benefit from it. And I've been able to offer new services based off of the skills that I've developed over this time period that I didn't have when the world was normal because I was busy dealing with, what I knew at the time and keeping up with their needs. But I've been able to keep up by reading the trades. So I read all of the industry trades. So from Variety to the Hollywood Reporter to see, what people are doing in the industry and where the industry is headed. So that's how I look ahead to have a barometer as to where we're going. But I also make time to learn new skills. As I said earlier, the playing field is leveled. 20 years ago, if I wanted to learn how to do video editing, I may have had to go to school to do that. With YouTube, there's so many tutorials and things that you can learn on your own if you make the time for it. So for me, sharpening my skills, getting access to free information that's available, and of course, reading the trades. That's how I've been able to keep up, to evolve, and hopefully stay in the race.
It's so funny. That's one of the key pieces of advice I give any sort of new or up and coming communication professionals, especially in digital. The best part about that is there's so much opportunity to teach yourself something. You don't have to wait for someone you can literally go straight to the source, put a portfolio together or get a certification and shop that around in addition to your resume or what have you. And I think that's one of the best parts about this industry is the ability to seek out the knowledge, apply it on your own in some way, and prove that you know how to do the task. And it's also important for all of us to keep our skills sharp because things change like that. I mean, there is no you got your degree a year ago and you can just chill. You have to constantly be getting certified in something or getting more information on something. So I think that's awesome. Now, what's coming up next for you? What do you have going on?
Well, as I said, COVID, the year of disruption, has also been a year of self-discovery, both personally and professionally. I launched a digital magazine this year. It was something that was not on my radar at the beginning of the year. And that idea came about. I was working with a nonprofit client of mine who was launching a new website that I had worked on. And she wanted to let people know that the new website was available. And in my conversations with this client, I said to her, no one is really going to care that you have a new website. It's nice. It's nice that you have a new website. But I think we can tell a story that would drive people to your website. I have a degree in journalism. I love storytelling. And I think that if you're able to add a human component to a product or service to make people connect with it, that is what gets them to care. That is what gets them to find, they want to find out more. So what started off as an idea that I was going to maybe do a press release or, something along those lines. But then I said, let me be creative. I have a passion for writing. I've been writing for 20 years for other publications. So I just said, I'll do a micro publication and it'll be a way to promote the client and a way to have a extension of my brand. So I launched this year. I didn't know how it was going to go, but I've made it through. I've published 11 issues.
Wow.
And all of them have been very different, focusing on current events, people of interest. And of course, because I love international news, I wanted to include stories from abroad, because I think one of the disadvantages that many of us have as Americans is we are in our bubbles. We only are concerned about the news that's happening, where we live. But there's a whole world outside of us that has things going on. And oftentimes the things that happen here, particularly in politics and policy, affect people globally. So it's important to have a broad perspective. So my magazine has covered all of that over these past 11 to 12 months. So I'm working on that. And I am looking to just expand. I have a corporate client that I'm looking to do more exciting things with next year and do more things in the entertainment space. So that's what I have. That's what I'm doing now. That's what I'm keeping up. And that's where I'm looking to go for 2021.
Well, that sounds really exciting. To your point about the storytelling and the example you gave about, your website is nice, but nobody kind of cares. That's why I think it's so important to have that external expertise, either from a creative agency or a marketing agency. So you come outside of your own natural bias about your baby, your thing, and they can tell you, yes, that's great, but the market doesn't really care unless you do something to get them to care.
Mm-hmm.
And storytelling is very foundational in that way. And it's such a core fundamental skill set communication professionals need to have. It doesn't matter if you're storytelling in 280 characters. It doesn't matter if you're doing a full-blown article. You have to tell a story. Otherwise, no one really cares, and you're not going to really capture the attention or hold it, for that matter, to get them to the next step or to build that relationship or to create, brand equity or anything like that. So I think that's always an important fundamental skill for communication professionals. Well, where can people get in touch with you for more information about your creative agency or the magazine? How can people connect with you?
They can simply go to my website. It's jocmedia.com. I consider my website as a hub for getting a plug into everything that I'm involved in. So if you go to jocmedia.com, you can access all of my social media platforms there. There's a portfolio of the work that we've done over the years in video and digital print, as well as music. So jocmedia.com is where your listeners can go to get more information about me and about us, and to also connect with us.
Well, thank you so much for your time, Justin. This has been great. We've been speaking with Justin Cooper, the owner of JOC Media and Entertainment. Thank you again for being a part of the show.
Thank you.